It's been 21 years since the first Pokemon game was released in 1996 in Japan, and these lovable Pokemonsters took the world by storm, with 18 games being released over various Game Boy consoles over 7 generations, and even still fans are going nuts with this generation's mobile Pokemon Go. Pretty much everyone has played a Pokemon game in the past, and today we're addressing a very important question that defines what kind of a trainer a person will be. Who is your favorite starter Pokemon? So we're counting down the top 10 best starter Pokemon. Open the floodgates, because we're about to enter Debate City. Let's jump in. And at number 10 is Froakie. Froakie is part of the 6th generation of Pokemon games, and was the first of that generation to be publicly announced. It's got a mane of bubbles that are produced from its chest and back, with 2 bubbles on its nose. They're called Frubbles, and they work to reduce the damage from attacks by opponents. So it's essentially got a built-in suit of bubble armor. Plus it's very strong and light, making it capable of jumping quite high. And its final evolution? Greninja, who is both a water and dark type Pokemon, who is incredibly fast and typically has 100% accuracy for all of its offensive attacks in the game. Snivy. And at number 9 is Snivy. Snivy gets a bit of a bad rep sometimes. A lot of players didn't enjoy using it as a starter Pokemon, complaining that its attacks were fairly weak to begin with. But Snivy has some pretty solid defense stats. With its Leech Seed and its eventual Mega and Giga Drain moves, Snivy provides the option for a different kind of tactical Pokemon in battle, using defense rather than offense, making it a useful part of a well-balanced team. Up next, number 8 is Mudkip. When you're so dope that the internet needs to meme the crap out of you, well, you know you're pretty well loved then, I guess. But let's talk a little bit about Mudkip's abilities rather than its infamy. Many players appreciate Mudkip's flexibility in battle. It eventually evolves into a water-ground type, making it more invulnerable to electricity attacks, but still fairly susceptible to grass-type moves though. Regardless, it's hard to deny Mudkip's reliability, especially for those interested in using it in contests and not just battles. Up next, number 7 is Cyndaquil. Cyndaquil reminds me of an adorable fire puppy. I mean, just look at it. Oh. Cyndaquil, along with the other new starter Pokemon that debuted in Pokemon Gold and Silver, had pretty big shoes to fill. A lot of fans still consider there only to be 151 Pokemon and refuse to acknowledge the newer generations. That being said, Cyndaquil was one of those Pokemon that impressed a lot of people, especially skeptics. Despite its timid nature, Cyndaquil packs a punch. And when it eventually evolves into Quilava, who evolves into Typhlosion, it's got some pretty deadly fire moves. Up next, number 6 is Totodile. Totodile is like the fine wine of Pokemon. It gets better with age. Or rather, level. Capable of moves like Hyper Beam Crunch, Ice Fang, Superpower, and hell, even Surf, it's hard to deny this little water Pokemon is worth the wait. Plus, right from the get-go, Totodile starts your team off pretty strong. And as far as aesthetics go, it's a fan favorite, with its evolutions being praised as pretty darn cool. Up next, number 5 is Torchic. While the concept of a fiery chicken may seem silly at first, Torchic definitely becomes worthwhile, especially in a game like Emerald where finding fire types to add to your roster right off the bat is a bit difficult. And when it finally evolves into its last form, Blaziken, it's immensely strong. It's both a fire and fighting type Pokemon. Some argue that Blaziken is the strongest fire type Pokemon deriving from a starter Pokemon, and its fighting type moves are effective against the kinds of Pokemon it's inherently weak against. I don't know, what do you guys think? And at number 4 is Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur is arguably the best grass starter Pokemon there is, also highly underrated, since players tend to choose either Charmander or Squirtle. And this is coming from someone who really loves Turtwig. Yes, I know he's incredibly slow, but he's adorable, you guys, I'm really sorry. Anyway, Bulbasaur tends to be wildly underrated. Regardless though, it's pretty amazing. Aside from being capable of giving out quite the ass whipping when it eventually evolves to Venusaur, this Pokemon is great for the first few gym battles you encounter, and eventually gives you the opportunity to use stun and sleep moves fairly early on in the game. Up next, number 3 is Charmander. I feel like this one's pretty self-explanatory. Charmander is a damn fire lizard. It's awesome on all fronts, except when dealing with water or rock Pokemon. And who does Charmander evolve into? Charizard, a fire dragon Pokemon, who is the coolest, ironically enough. Because, you know, fire. Dad jokes aside, Charizard gives you the ability to have a wickedly strong fire Pokemon in your roster that you can also teach Fly to, along with many other useful moves that not only make it awesome but versatile and incredibly powerful. Also probably the most popular, just throwing that out there. Up next, number 2 is Pikachu from Pokemon Yellow. I mean, come on, how could I not? Ever since the anime hit the small screen, fans everywhere want to be exactly like Ash and have a Pikachu of their own. They were the bromance that trainers strived for. So when Pokemon Yellow came out, which was an improved upon version of Pokemon Red and Blue that essentially just featured Pikachu as your starter Pokemon, people were like, oh my god, Pikachu's following me around outside, and it's outside of its Pokeball just like the show. So yeah, they kinda lost their shit. And yes, there is criticism. To be fair, this Pikachu won't evolve. It's only useful against a handful of gym leaders. I mean, let's be honest, Charmander isn't either when you're going up against Brock. It's all about having a balanced team, you guys. And finally, in at number 1 is Squirtle. So Squirtle, who is practically an amalgamation of a squirrel and a turtle, evolves into Blastoise, one of the most powerful water Pokemon ever. But Blastoise isn't just your run-of-the-mill water-type Pokemon. Oh no. The rocket cannons on his back are powerful enough to break steel. He can be taught some pretty strong rock-type moves, and can even learn a few ice ones as well. Plus, Scientific American actually crunched the numbers to find out that Squirtle was in fact the best Pokemon, or starter Pokemon rather, in an article titled Squirtle, I Should Choose You, settling a great Pokemon debate with science. When dissecting the numbers, Squirtle and his evolution stand the best chance against all gym leaders, making Squirtle a Pokemon that's hard to turn down. Also, Squirtle Squad. Enough said. Alright guys, there we have it. Who's your favorite starter Pokemon? Do you agree with the ones on this list? Let me know in those comments below. And as always, if you dug this video, make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons. But for now, I've been Kelly Pally for Top 10 Gaming, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.